with Love and Marriage Huntsville. I think last season I only did like maybe one or two reviews for Love and Marriage Huntsville because it was getting on my nerve. I feel like I stopped that right around the time I stopped doing Summer House reviews because it was just like, what are we watching here? But this season, which I'm confused about because I thought it was like the same season since they didn't do a reunion for the last season, but it shows up as season 7. So here we are with season 7, episode 1, Innocent Until Proven Keke. Y'all, the episode starts off with the crime stoppers on the news looking for Keke, saying that she was stealing from a hardware store and she was using one of her kids to steal stuff too. So when she got stopped by loss prevention to empty her bag, she's taking the stuff out that she was stealing, but she tells the child to go on ahead, go on to the car. And the child had some stuff on them, and when she sped off, she almost hit 2 cars, they said. So it was just a hot mess. So that's how the episode starts. Then we see, I hope y'all can't hear my baby having a blast in the living room, but if y'all do, I'm a mother. So yeah, then we see Mel goes to see Tiffany and the baby. Tiffany's breastfeeding, oh, it's so distracting. I wish she would stop screaming, but whatever. Mel goes to see Tiffany and the baby. Tiffany over there breastfeeding. Mel ring the doorbell, even though Tiffany's standing right there. And so Tiffany immediately brings up the whole thing about Keke. And Mel was just kind of looking at her like, this is what you want to talk about with your baby on your titty? This is the conversation we're going to have. Okay. Mel looked like she was mildly disgusted by Tiffany's topic, her choice of topic, and that's talking about Keke and how it's gonna tarnish everyone's brand, and oh well, you don't want to be associated with that, and da da da. Well, girl, don't hang out with her. And what are you trying to say? It was given that she's trying to get Keke put off the show because she doesn't want Love and Marriage Huntsville associated with Keke and her shenanigans. But it's like, girl, how you gonna tell the person that pitched the show to put off the person they brought on the show? It was just all types of crazy, especially because, like, Mel don't even like none of y'all for real. I feel like she's the closest with Tiffany because Tiffany don't give Mel a lot of backlash on stuff. Not because they're just the closest, it's because Tiffany understands the pecking order in that you gotta kiss Mel's butt. That's my whole thing about it. So then she's just telling Mel, oh, I want to do a baby reveal, record this video for me. And what blew me about this was Mel was like, I'm a Scorpio, we only doing one take. And as they showing her recorded, Mel cutting Tiffany head all off, and it's all Tiffany way over here on the camera cutting her side off. I'm like, how you gonna tell that girl she gotta do it in one take and you ain't even filming good? You're not even filming good. So Mel be so fake, y'all. Mel be so fake. So next we see Courtney goes to see Marcel. So in the last season, it ended with the Black Expo. And for some reason, they just didn't have nothing laid out. It just seems like, how you would expect these professional people to have stuff laid out. They didn't. And Marcel asked, what's her name? Stormy. As Stormy was setting up. Now, granted, Stormy was wild for assuming that she could have all of the space that she did. And she took up like a full corner. It looked like it was probably space for like 3 or 4 tables that she took up, setting this up as if this was her own personal event. So I will admit that was a bit wild of her to just do that. But she probably thought that only the cast were going to have tables. Because again, They didn't explain nothing to her. They did a whole walkthrough last season. They didn't give her the dimensions of the table, the dimensions of the space, the fee, nothing. They just told her, we need vendors. It's going to be on that day. So she said, okay, cool. I'll come save your event. It's probably the attitude Stormy was going on into it with. So this is spillover from that. And Stormy was like, he always acting like a bee, as she's talking to her husband Courtney, how Marcel be acting like a bee and he always confronting women and just, them airing out their grievances about Marcel, because Marcel was dead wrong for asking her about $100 vendor fee while she was setting up. We did a whole walkthrough last week. You could have asked me for that money then. You could have let me know it was due then. But right now, no. You don't want to see Courtney. So Courtney goes to see Marcel. And he was like, yeah, we had a lot of people turn out. He was like, did you have a lot of people pay $100? Courtney came like, let me tell you what we finna talk about. I'm not here for all that fugazi, okay? We finna talk about how you talking to my wife. All types of crazy. You trying to check my wife? Well, I'm checking you for thinking you could check my wife. And you tell him, you always in women's business. You always in women's business, which was spillover. I feel like that was Courtney airing out his grievance from something else, because in this situation, Marcel wasn't wasn't actually in women's business. But I guess if you already been side-eyeing him for the stuff that he been doing, this is just a spillover from that. So Courtney tells him, you always in women's business. And Marcel go tell him, you saying I'm in women's business, but you literally sell hair care products. Which was so lame, because it's like, you just literally called him a millionaire, so you can, acknowledge that whatever it is they over there doing, they doing it right. Meanwhile, you been trying to build this house for how long? And didn't have the money. Your uncle already told us you ain't had the money. It took y'all, 4 years to even break ground. He was like, well, we had to clear the trees, and we had to do this, and we had to do that, da-da-da-da. It should still be something at this point. Like, it ain't taking people, 5 years to break ground, Sheree. Neverland. Well, this is the new Neverland. Now that Chateau Sheree is up, what they calling it? Did they name their place? I feel like they named the. I can't remember right now. But this is the new Neverland, because it don't ever look like it's coming to fruition. They didn't even had to move from the house they in to move into an apartment so that they can renovate the house they in to make it comfortable for the next 3 to 4 years that they're going to be living there until the big house is ready. Neverland. So that was the part that tripped me out about him. You literally sell women's hair care products. You sell women's hair care products. Courtney was like, I ain't got time for this BS. Money ain't no issue. Here go your tip. He tipped the waitress. $100 on a glass of water. Yeah, there go your money. Watch how you talk to my wife. Essentially, right? So next we see Kimmy goes to see Tisha at the apartment, and they talk about the argument with Stormy and Tiffany. And this part cracked me up because Kimmy was like, if you gave me $1,000 right now, I still wouldn't be able to tell you what Tiffany does for a living. Y'all, why is Tiffany Tommy? They just know she worked. They don't know where she work at, though. So that cracked me up, how she was like, yeah, I don't know what she do neither. But what you do know is when somebody asked a question at the Black Expo and Martell nor either one of y'all on the stage could answer it, Tiffany stood right up and answered that question seamlessly. Okay? That's what we do need to pay attention to. Regardless of if we don't know what she do or not, we know she doing something and she know what she doing, because she clearly knows more than y'all. So there's that. You need to put a little bit respect on Tiffany's name, because y'all was up there looking clueless. When it was like, I think the girl asked them something about raising capital. Is my bun crooked? A little bit, huh? The girl asked them something about raising capital or something like that. And then none of them have an answer for her. Not a damn one. Tiffany had to stand up, pregnant in the audience, and answer the girl question. Just a mess. So they also talk about, what else? They also talk about Keke, the Keke situation. Did you see it? Yeah, I saw it, girl. Girls, people sent it to me. I woke up, I must have went to sleep, and when I woke up, I had 10 text messages of people sending me the stuff from Crime Stoppers. Tisha said it's $1,000 reward to like turn her in. It's $1,000 reward. So that cracked me up because I'm like, dang, y'all gonna turn her in? Y'all gonna turn her in? So next we see Martell, y'all. We see gaslighting Martell, and it's so funny to me how he tries to gaslight the other men, and they don't be going for it. They are not here for any of his foolishness. And shout out to Chris Fletcher, because the spillover from last season with them is Martell had Chris and his wife, Nell Fletcher, subpoenaed for court to come and speak on, not necessarily on either one of their behalves for, support me, but to speak on what they know as far as Martell and Melody goes and their divorce and the children and everything. So Chris is still messed up. He's still pissed off about that because he's like, he could have told me. I didn't know what was going on, this, that, and the third. Like, he just saw it as a move. You know what I mean? So Chris already like, yeah, I'm about through with you. So Chris comes over to the house, and Martell gonna tell him, you need to take off your shoes. You take off your shoes. You got some booties or something? You need to put on your booties. And he's like, do you got some booties? He was like, no, I ain't got none. And he was like, okay, well, I'm not taking off my shoes. Like, you can go on with that. Baby, Chris already fed up with you. Stop playing with that man. If you wanted people to have their shoes covered when they come over the house, you need to have a box of them little hospital shoe covers for people's feet to be covered when they come in your house. This is your rule. People don't know what's your rule to be prepared to come up in there. He in the confessional talking about, well, if you're a realtor, you should know that you need to wear booties around, so that you can walk in people's house, da da this, da da that. Boy, bye. So next, Chris is like, yeah, the house is due to be sold. Martell said, yeah, as soon as I move out. Chris said, no, not as soon as you move out. Like, now. Ain't nobody finna be waiting on you to find another place before. It just didn't make no sense, y'all. Martell made absolutely no sense, and he just does not want to take accountability for anything. So he's like, well, I asked you if you had any properties I could move into, or this, that, and the third. Chris said, and I told you I ain't had none. Martell gonna say, exactly. So if you couldn't find nothing in 30 days, what makes you think that I could find something in 30 days? Because you need to? Because they gonna put you out on the street? He was like they can put me out? He said, yes, they can. They can evict you because you're month to month right now. So they can absolutely put you out if an offer gets put in on this house. Well, you can at least give me 90 days. 90 days on top of the already 45 days you supposed to have been gone. Martell just always wants somebody to be doing something for him. And it was just so ridiculous to hear him really argue with this man about how it's his fault that Martell, it's Chris's fault that Martell ain't moved out yet. It was so wild, y'all. As a friend, you should be trying to help me. And my thing is like, if he having problems with you trying to get you to move out of this house because they selling it now, why would he put you in another one of his houses where you gonna be acting up, and when it's time to go, you ain't gonna be leaving because you ain't got nowhere to go? Why would he put himself in that situation all the way over again? So Martell was like, okay, well, 90 days. Okay, give me 90 days and I'll be out of here. He was like, nah, 2 weeks, couple of weeks, 2 weeks. That's it. And you can tell Chris is very much over Martell. It's probably over with for them ever really talking again once he finds a place and moves out, because Chris is very much over this man. He done gave Chris too much stress in the personal and the professional. So it's like, what are we even trying to hang on to if you can't treat me right and be forthcoming in either front, personal or professional? So I don't blame Chris. I'm over him too, Chris. Please break up with this man. Don't let him put you in no more mess. Hanging out with these guys and got you in more mess than you need in your life. Because when he was like, when Marcel was like, I was in Atlanta with Chris. Chris was like, baby, we was out there for an hour-long meeting. I don't know what you did after that. Don't be bringing me up in this. I'm faithful to my wife. Chris was like, this what we not finna do. So Chris always getting some type of stress from these folks. And I just want him to break up with them. As much as I like seeing Chris and Mel on here, Chris, I just want you to part ways with these men because they just stress you out for absolutely no freaking reason. So, 90 days, 2 weeks. That's how that conversation is. Next, the most stressful of the conversations, arguments, misunderstandings, willful ignorance on reality TV, Kimmy and Reese. So, they go on a bike ride and, they having their little, fun, get outside type date. They stop and have their little Keke for the cameras. So this Keke is about the girls' event. Kimmy tells him about the girls, how they went out to lunch, and Tisha got to arguing with Tiffany and Stormy, and it was just all a big old mess, right? So then she talks about how Stormy was mad because of the $100. And she's like, she wanted her to pay $100 and da-da-da-da, this and the third. Reese said, we paid $100. Why couldn't they pay? Kimmy said, why? Why didn't we pay? Half the vendors didn't pay. Reese's face was like, excuse me? Half the what didn't do what? But we paid. And I think he said he made them pay for each of their individual businesses. It sounded like he said we paid twice. So I'm thinking like whatever Maurice's tax business is, they pay for that table and they pay for Kimmy's realtor. Is she like a realtor? I believe something like that. Sounds like they paid for 2 different tables for their 2 different businesses, which I wouldn't have been going for because it's like you already got me speaking for free at this event and then I need to pay a vendor's fee. And apparently when they first did it, they didn't have the vendors to pay anything, which is wild to me that you wouldn't have the vendors pay anything. Now, granted, if you're speaking, I feel like Cass that was speaking shouldn't have had to pay nothing, but just somebody walking in off the street, you would generally pay a vendor fee for something like this. But to make them pay the Cass that you was already asking them for free services was crazy to me. So they talk about that, have that out. Maurice is kind of annoyed about it, but he's just like, okay, whatever. It is what it is. So next she goes into, I need to go to the Yoni store. My Yoni egg, it dropped in the toilet. My last one dropped in the toilet. And he was just sitting there like, what you talking about? I ain't know that. Okay, sure, whatever. And she's in the confessional talking about how, she wants to get a new Yoni egg because she wants to help herself with her decreased libido from her cancer treatments, y'all. And she's like, yeah, I know. He'll appreciate it. He should appreciate it. I guess, tightening everything back up because she said it just fell in the toilet, y'all. So, tightening everything back up. And he says to her, well, I feel like it's just mental. It's mental. You just got to get out of the mental block. Mind you, y'all, she literally just finished chemo and radiation for cancer and is still on some type of post-cancer treatment medications. And he tells her that this is mental. Y'all, I would have kicked him over on that bike. I cannot believe that she just be sitting there taking this from him because it's just the most ridiculous, disrespectful type of conversations to have. He already on Carlos King's podcast, YouTube, a few months ago, he was like, yeah, she just, rolls over and suffers through it for me because that's what a wife is supposed to do. You are literally, how disrespectful of you while your wife is in the midst of cancer treatments to make her roll over and suffer through it because men have needs. Like, how crazy do you sound? How disrespectful do you sound? Like, you literally cannot care about her well-being if you put yours over hers. And that's what he's doing in that situation. He is putting his need slash want for sex over how she feels and if she even wants to have sex, if she's comfortable having sex. And he gonna tell her in previous episodes, you getting too good at faking it. I don't want you to get good at faking it. I didn't know you was faking it. And she was just like, I mean, I know that you need it, so I just, do what I gotta do. So that's why he feels like it's mental for her, because she was able to fake it all those times. And she was like, you would want some type of enjoyment out of sex, right? You would want for me to have some type of enjoyment out of this, right? So why would you think just because I was faking it that it's mental? I gotta take a drink because this made me hot, y'all. Made me hot. So yeah, this man wants her to suffer through it because he needs sex multiple times a week. It couldn't be me, y'all. I would literally leave somebody for that. Somebody said I was being drastic. Oh, it don't even take all that. It truly does. If a man can't understand that I'm still trying to go through cancer treatment and getting my body back and getting the old me back while I'm on this medication that says my libido is going to drop, and you can't even respect me and my body and my well-being and my recovery process enough to allow me that grace, I would leave. I ain't saying I would just go straight to divorce, but I would leave. I'd leave the room. That'd be the first step. If he still don't get it, I would leave the house. We will be in somebody's counseling about if this can be fixed, because that's such a huge disrespect and disregard to her well-being that I just simply cannot get past. I can't. So she tells him, you're borderline being an ass right now. I said, borderline? Baby, he done went past that line and a few more yards down the road. This is not borderline anymore. And he gonna say, well, I'm being an ass because I can't get no ass. We would have been fighting out there on them bikes, y'all. We would have been fighting. So next we are at Canvas Beauty headquarters. You always see Stormy and Courtney. And Courtney is telling Stormy how he went to go see Marceau. Stormy tells him that Tisha and them started charging at the last minute. They weren't even charging everybody. They started charging at the last minute because something happened to where they had like a $10,000 bill for something. And Kimmy talked about this too. They had got like a fee for something out of nowhere. So that's when they started charging the vendors. And Kimmy was like, and I don't see what the cost was. It ain't like we got a bigger venue space that we didn't have no food. We didn't have this. We didn't. It had me cracking up, y'all. So Courtney was just like, yeah, whatever. I ain't let it bother me. I just had to go check him about him thinking he can check you. So next she tells him about the baby reveal that Tiffany is having and how she's going to be helping with that. And she helps all the girls come. She's like, I know who's not going to be there. Keke not going to be invited. Keke not going to be invited. So, like, everybody just kind of on edge about Keke and what's going on. And Stormy has enough sense to be like, essentially, she wants to handle Keke with care. She doesn't want to just throw her to the wind like Tiffany was talking about. Well, this can be damaging to our brands. This can be damaging to our brands. Stormy wants to handle it with care. And in the final scene, y'all, we finally see Keke. Mel goes to see Keke because that's, who brought her in. That's the closest friend to her, even though Tisha is her cousin. We gonna see them warring of a few more episodes according to the little preseason trailer. But she has on a shirt, Mel is like, hot mess. Girl, okay. So she goes in there, she asks how Keke is doing. Keke was like, yeah, I just got out the hospital. She's like, the hospital? What happened while you was in the hospital? Yeah, I was having this pain and I didn't know what was going on, so I had to go to the hospital and this, that, and the third. But you know, when God covers you, this and that and the third, and y'all, I'm sorry to say this, but Keke, I really hope that I can't hear my girl, but Keke looked geeked up in the scene. Like her eyes was like this, and she just was just talking a mile a minute. Yes, like at speaking engagements, and you know, people trusting me, and speaking engagements and endorsements, and I still want to put out the children's books, and I want to do this and this, but I also want to do this and this and this. God, yeah, girl, God got me, and this and this and this. I'm doing this and I'm doing that, and Mel was just sitting there like, oh, okay. And she had a confessional. She said, that shirt Keke wearing was perfect. Hot mess, but doing my best. Yep, that sums it up pretty good. So she is just going on and on about how things are going so great for her. And Mel is just like, okay. And the way production, the way the editing was, like, making it look like she was talking for forever, the way they flipping the scenes, and she's still going a mile a minute. Yeah, I got speaking engagements, and I get this, and I get this. And Mel is just like, okay, girl. Cool. That's all fine and dandy. I'm proud of you. But what's about this stuff about you stealing? You was on Crime Stoppers? What about that, though? Since everything's so great, I'm just, you know, what's going on with that, And Keke just like, well, and then it was, to be continued for the next episode. And y'all, from the pre-season trailer, it looks like this season is going to be good. So I anticipate reviewing the whole season. I really do, because it looks like it's going to be a little bit of mess every episode. Some mess every episode. Because in the preseason trailer, they showed Keke and Letitia getting into it. Keke threw a drink on Tisha, and you can hear somebody like, drug test her. She would be drug tested. And then Keke's husband, getting up to defend her honor, and it's just a big old argument. We see that. Then we see Keke telling Mel about Marceau cheating with some girl, and they ended up having a threesome. Some more mess. Then we see they went on a trip to Houston, and Martell brought a girl in. You see Martell coming through the house with some chick, and everybody's like, well, who this chick is? And people like, I thought you're supposed to be dating Sheree at this point. So we're going to see that little bit of mess. And then we also see in the preseason trailer where Marceau is asking Tisha if she ever stepped out on him, if she ever cheated. And she's like, I can't answer that for you. Which I feel like that's probably editing. I feel like Tisha probably immediately said, no, I've never cheated on you. Why would you ask me something like that? I feel like that's how that conversation went. But editing, they gotta build the anticipation. Even though I do feel like Tisha probably do got her something on the side these days. Because on last season, Tisha was just so nonchalant about Marceau and his craziness to where we've never seen her so lax. And body yada 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 yada. Remember Martell was like, okay, Tisha, I see you. When she had that little jean outfit when they was doing the walkthrough for the venue. So I think Tisha got her a little something on the side. She said, I ain't gonna be worried about what he doing because I ain't gonna leave him. But I'm gonna have me something to do while he doing his something to do. These kids big enough where they can be at home by themselves for a few hours. Go to Africa again, my man gonna be up over here. Okay? Oh, and we also see in the preseason trailer where she's talking about how she thought she was pregnant and she needed to take a pregnancy test. And he was like, you need to take a blood test. Y'all, I can't wait for that episode because the way you need to take a blood test. She was like, why would you say that? He was like, I got a vasectomy. And I was sure remember because I said to myself, I was like, all three of them went and got vasectomies. Because after Martell was out there messing around or something, I remember them. I can't remember if Reese got a vasectomy too, but a vasectomy. I don't know why I keep saying a vasectomy too, but I remember them going and getting vasectomies and then telling the wives later. Like the wives weren't even a part of the conversation of them getting vasectomies, y'all. And that's what really made me feel like y'all out here cheating. Y'all be out here cheating. Just like Martell said, y'all took a guy's trip to Atlanta and all of y'all had y'all some little chicks. I can believe it. But that is it for now, y'all. I think right now, is this going to be the only show I'm reviewing? Oh, I said I wanted to review Love After Lockup too. So I guess I'll tune into that so I can start those reviews up. I don't know about Power. I can never really watch it when I need to watch it because my husband be wanting to watch it too. So we be trying to watch that together. But the 2-year-old, she don't be letting us watch much of nothing. Because when she supposed to be off playing with my dad, she don't. She still be trying to see what we doing because her man. So I don't know if I really be keeping up with the Power reviews. But definitely we'll be here for Love and Marriage Huntsville. And we'll start doing Love After Lockup. I don't know how far I'm going to get with that. It depends on what couples they have. Which I think the couples are, I think I'm going to stick, but I think I'm going to start it up because I think some of the couples I really would like to see what's going on with them. So those will be the 2 reviews that I keep with right now until Married to Medicine comes back in November. And I'm wondering if Real Housewives of Potomac comes back around that, before that, with that. Because I feel like Married to Medicine was always the second show to come on. Or did it just have it stand alone on Sundays? We'll see. And I know they did another Summer House too. So I know Summer House should be coming back around. I don't know if I'm going to be watching that again either. Like I said, when they put out, what was the girl name? I can't even remember her name. But when they put the girl out, Mariah, just because Bree said so, she touched me. I was really over it because I feel like it was so disrespectful. That should have been a time where they called the production and said, run back the tape so we can know exactly what happened before we make a brash decision. But they didn't. But I heard Silas not going to be there because he's going to be deployed. So it might be a little bit better. So we'll see. But yeah, y'all, this was Love and Marriage Huntsville, Season 7, Episode 1. Hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, subscribe, all of the things. Tell a friend, share it, all of that, y'all. Bye.